over 350 accuracy.
It's over 9,000!
All right, today was the very first week that I started from scratch, used quick play in the hardest 3 difficulties, and was able to get all 4 chests. That's right, the 1.2 billion. In addition to that, I'm going to get max chests on the hardest 3 difficulties using quick battles. So this is going to be very similar to what a lot of people do when they say they 1 key Ultra Nightmare, Demon Lord, Clan Boss, and then on a daily basis, you just go and you sim it. Well, on a weekly basis, I am now effectively simming HYDRA. I've been playing the game for a year. This was not an easy task. It took a year. And we're going to go over the champs, the tools that are used to get this, and how you can do it as well. Now, if you want to get your Raid Shadow Legends journey started off right, especially if you're an existing player that wants to start a new account, what you can do is use the PC Polarium app, log out from your account, click the link in the description, and then enter a new email. And then you will start your journal off right with Corrado, Ugo, Fane, and also Deacon. Ugo and Deacon can be used absolutely inside of HYDRA. And then also use promo code Monkey King, which you get some Wukong, who's also useful inside of HYDRA, and then Michelangelo, which I think Michelangelo is good in HYDRA. I haven't really played a lot with the turtles. I know there's going to be some people that are going to say, just spend a lot of money and open shards and get lucky and you can do it. That is partially correct. When we go through this list, some of the champions that I used to get where I am today did happen from me getting extremely lucky. I do think there is a measure of that for sure, but 80% of the champions that we're going to look at today and how I got there are really easy to get. Either they're free legendaries, epics, that's how it works, or they were fusions. I really think that the easiest path to get to where I got today is by doing fusions, getting the fusions that are good, in HYDRA, because otherwise it just wouldn't have happened. Now, I do want to talk to that a little bit, and then we'll go into the exceptions to what I just said right there. But most of the characters in my roster that I use on a daily basis were characters that I acquired either by free daily login, some sort of fusion that was complicated, finishing a certain game mode, fusion events, so on and so on. Mikage technically is a fusion, and I didn't purchase her directly. I had to jump through hoops, get a little bit lucky with the epics and things like that. I get it, but eventually one would expect to get Mikage without directly spending money, right? Tholen was a fusion, right? Donatello was a fusion. Throat Ripper was a fusion. Alice was a free login champion. Loki was a free login champion. Mithrala was a free HYDRA champion, right? Arbiter for missions, right? So this is where, like if I don't use her, but this was the first one on this list so far, and my most powerful champions that was randomly pulled. Don't even use her. Free champion, free fusion champion, useless, but I got randomly on the shard. Actually, I use her in 1 game mode. I don't know, her, him. All right, Lydia, Faction Wars, right? So I've been playing the game for a year, and I'm going to say that in Raid Shadow Legends, you're going to get a ton of free champions, and participating in the fusions is going to give you the tools to move forward. Absolutely, to get to the place that where I'm able to basically sim HYDRA on a weekly basis and get the maximum amount of rewards. Couple things, how did I do it? Want to shout out the Hell Hades artifact extractor. So when you use this artifact extractor, the primary purpose of it is to sort your artifacts and your accessories and sell them quickly and upgrade, all that stuff, right? But where I'm finding it to be the most useful is that it knows what champions I have in my roster, and I'm able to go into this tool called the Team Optimizer. I'm able to plug the rotation of HYDRA. Now what that means is that there's a rotating schedule of the HYDRA. Like you see here, it's rotation 2, chimeras, and rotation 3. So that I'm able to go in here, plug in rotation 2, select the difficulty that I want to play in, and then it'll show you, or me, my roster, and what other people have done with similar rosters and how they got and what kind of scores. So you can see right here, wow, this is good results. You know, they got Rector Draft. Then you start upgrading the characters that are needed to do well. And this is basically somebody has done this with your roster, which is kind of cool, right? You're able to see, it's like, oh, now I wasn't able to do and recreate these teams exactly, but what I was able to do was to learn what champions excel. And then that gave me a path of what to upgrade. Like I found out very quickly that Inquisitor Shemil, amazing. Visix, free champion, amazing. Mithrala, free champion, amazing. So on and so on. And then I was able to focus on those champions. That way I could build one good team, then two good teams, and then three good teams. Now, HYDRA is somewhat of a hassle because it requires 3 good teams, and there are multiple ways of doing well in HYDRA. I'm only going to go into the ways that I did well in HYDRA. And in general, the strategy I took was 2 damage dealers and 4 supports. I needed some sort of heal. I needed some sort of perfect veil. Some people look for some sort of provoke. I needed some sort of way of cleansing, and I absolutely needed some way of putting Hex on the board. And then I needed 2 really strong damage champions. So when I was looking at this data and this information right here, I was kind of able to pick apart what each champion is doing and why it works. Like here on the top, you can see that there is 4 supports and 2 damage dealers, right? You know, this was a fusion, this was a fusion. This guy got lucky. This guy is a cleanser, attack all, and he also buffs the champions. We've also got block buffs put on the other side. We've got Rector Drath, which is healing, reviving, and more importantly, putting perfect veil so we can shut down the fear that comes from that blue annoying head. And I don't know this guy. Like I just didn't upgrade this guy. And if I was getting really frustrated and not getting the team comp that I wanted to work, I would do that. Now, there's also a filter right here where I can hit 6-star ascended only, apply filter, and then it basically strips out all of the characters that I don't have at level 60. So I can see this team right here. It's like, huh, okay. Yeah, I've got this guy upgraded. So again, 2 damage dealers. This guy is going to put block buff immunity so that they won't get buffs right here. Then this guy right here is going to cleanse. He also has a max heal, whatever, right? Your roster is going to be different than mine. That's why it's so hard to say, do all this. But I get to see, we got another cleanser. This is going to put out Hex. And then we got Rector Drath. Rector Drath is going to be one of the more important champions and compositions. But I'm able to learn what team comps in my roster are accomplishing whatever is needed to make a team work. So there's a couple champions that are important here. Inquisitor Shemel also is a character that once you use them and see how he works, these are epics. Epics you're gonna get. You're gonna get most of them over time. I think you're gonna be able to get between 70 and 80% of the epics in the game just by playing the game, through the normal gameplay as possible. Now, what legendaries you get is going to be somewhat randomized, but the idea is that one should stumble upon very good legendaries along the way. So I just want to go into specifically what teams I used and which of the champions I got relatively accessible, or I also want to isolate the champions that are, I got lucky, because there is a component of that. And hopefully you get lucky with a similar type of champion, and so that you can have a good experience as well. So this was my main team, and this was on the hardest difficulty, Nightmare, and it's mostly fusions and or guaranteed legendaries through events. And that's what I'm going to say. The main point of this entire video is pay attention to guaranteed champions, guaranteed legendaries, whether they're through events or they're through fusions or they're through logins. Most of the good champions in my roster that got this done, I got for free. I'm using air quotes because usually you got to jump through hoops, but it wasn't this idea of getting lucky in a shard. So I hope that my distinction is getting lucky versus fusions, getting rewards from characters out of game modes. There's a distinction in my mind between just getting randomly lucky. Now, on this first team, we have to assess what are those champions. So there's 6, and straight up, 3 of them here, I got randomly lucky, right? Pythian, Padraig, Feral. I believe 2 of them may have been fusion, free-to-play type accessible in the past, but that was before my time. And I randomly got them in the last year through various ways, right? So I did get lucky. Now, I could substitute many different characters on there, but this particular team comp, I used the tools that worked best for me. Now, I tried a bunch of different things. This team worked out the best for me, but I was using Godseeker here, which is an epic instead of Pythium, and it worked great. Right here, I was using Mythrawler to cleanse and put out Hex, and it worked great. Feral, I don't have a direct replacement for, but it would be something like Rector Draft. Like if I didn't have these 3 champions, 1, 2, 3, I know what I would replace them with, because those champions are kind of like core pieces to make it work, right? I need to have 4 supports and 2 damage dealers. This guy right here is serving the function of making Throat Ripper do a lot more damage. He's bonkers, right? But he's also giving turn meter to the team. He has a speed aura. He's also putting defense down. He's also putting block buffs on the other team so that they won't get 9 million positive effects and ruin your day. So I need something that does that. We've got damage. Right here, we've got healing, reviving, cleansing. And I was using typically Godseeker for healing and reviving and buff extension. Didn't have a cleanser. So like if I didn't use him, I would have to somewhere else use a cleanser, right? So I get to know what my cleansers are, right? But if I didn't use him, I would be using Godseeker. Right here, what is this primary guy doing? He's giving buffs to the team. He's putting out attack up. He's putting up defensive buffs, all that. He's putting out an assist all, which just increases the damage. But his primary function is healing and cleansing the team from negative effects. And he is restoring destroyed HP, which was kind of offset by my Godseekers. My Godseeker is got the blessings on that to do that as well. So if I used Godseeker here and I didn't use this guy here, I would use Mythrawler. Mythrawler is the free HYDRA champion, right? And then Feral, I would have to use something that gives Perfect Veil. Now this guy does more than Perfect Veil. Obviously, he puts out slow, so I need to have a different way of putting out slow on them. He also is giving like monstrous amounts of accuracy and resistance, which is required on the hardest difficulty of HYDRA, but I can do that with Rector Drath to a certain degree. Like I could replace those 3 champions. Like if I didn't have this, I could have went Godseeker, Mythrala, and Rector Drath. I could have also maybe snuck in Lydia there. You get the idea, right? And the only way that I can learn that is by going through the team optimization tool and putting together these patterns and seeing what other people are doing. That may not work for me, but I can figure out why they're using each champion in each place, figure out what works for me, because you're going to have a different roster than I do. So I think about Kat's account. She's got some crazy support champions like Duchess Lilitu, and it's just a matter of putting the supports together to fill all the roles. Having somebody that puts up the Perfect Veil, or somebody that puts up Provoke, somebody that does Hex, somebody that, buffs your team with either defensive or attack buffs, and then something that prevents the other side from getting buffs, either takes them away or blocks them from happening. Finding all of these pieces, having an answer to the fears. I'm going to have to do that with the combination of characters that I have, and I had to learn that by kind of like sorting through this to figure it out, to put together the right team. I can't stress enough that these characters need to be maxed out. All the masteries done, everything geared correctly, geared for what their intended purpose is, having the right amount of accuracy and resistance for each one of these particular HYDRAs, right? So I had to kind of use this also to take a look at this and see, if I want to go into Nightmare, I better be going in with over 350 accuracy.
It's over 9,000!
If I want to land my negative effects, and if I don't want negative effects to come on me, they're going to have to be over 400. Now that's ridiculous, right? When you first start playing the game. But even on normal, there's going to be requirements here. We can see what they are. It's like, accuracy. Wow, I'm going to have probably about 300 accuracy. If I want to put down, well, no. Oh, you have to, this is the opposite. This is what his resistance is and his accuracy. This being said, and this is just a generalization, I'm going to need to have at least 150 accuracy. I'm going to have 300 resistance. Now, I never really paid attention to the resistance. I just focused on the accuracy component. There's some grids there on YumiLove and on Reddit that give more details. But whatever one you're going into, got to know at least how much accuracy you're going to have to land the negative effects. If you don't have enough accuracy, it's not going to work. So let's keep going down. Just this concept of, was this a free-ish champion or did I get lucky? On this main team, yeah, 3 of them I got lucky. And you say, well, I didn't get those fusions. Well, keep playing Raid Shadow Legends. Keep doing the fusions. Keep getting the free legendary logins. You're going to stumble across something that's amazing. That's the way the game works. Right now, they're doing the 4 turtles. I think the 4 turtles are in this category as well. Absolutely, the 4 turtles in this category as well. Pretty sure, if I got 4 turtles, 2 supports that complement the 4 turtles, and I would be done. I know that they need a speed lead and maybe like a healer reviver and then maybe something else. I don't know, but it feels like they have a lot of buffing and debuffing and cleansing and damage for sure. We just need something to keep them alive, like a speed lead and a healer reviver, and they'd probably be good to go. And then you would have like a clan boss team that probably could do this very easily. Let's go to Brutal. Brutal. Free champion, epic, free champion, random good pull. I happened to pull 3 of these guys. So this is a team right here where we got damage and we've got damage. Well, I could use a different damage dealer. There's a whole host of damage dealers that are good inside of HYDRA. Whole host of them, but this is a damage dealer. He also is taking away the positive effects on their side. He's doing HP burn. He is working with Hex. But I could probably run this team with a Geomancer right here. Could run the same champion, free champion, epic, free champion, Geomancer. Probably get very similar results just because I know how the mechanics work here. May have to put a different champion in there because one of the main things he's doing is he's stopping the positive effects from getting the other side. Part of that is done by her and him, but knowing all the components that I spoke of earlier kind of will do this. And it's a process of getting one team to work and then a second team to work and then 3 teams to work over time and then getting them consistent in the right time. So you're gonna have to play with it. There's no generic. Now, what do we got here? All right, got lucky. Free, that was a fusion. Free, well, not free, but epic, free champion. This was the one that I'm suggesting people to use, the promo code. Arbiter's free. Easy to get, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not easy to get. So you're going to have to get a little bit lucky, right, is what I'm trying to say. Or when you get lucky, know that you got lucky and put it together. Are there 100% free-to-play options? Yes. And you're going to find them by using the tool. You're going to find them by using, because other people are doing it, right? And so you can go through here and figure it out. But this is what worked best for me. Cheshire Cat happens to work amazingly well with Mad Hatter. So that's right there is damage. Some Wukong is damage, but he's also putting the buff immunity on the other side. We've got attack up, a small amount of healing, and reviving, right? Then we've got healing, and then we've got buff immunity on the other side, and then a soft cleanse, and also defense down, so we're getting more damage. And then we've got our Veil champion to deal with that fear, and also some healing, and also some added resistance. So it's about having basically 2 damage dealers and 4 supports that are filling all the roles to get the job done. Play fusions, play fusions, play fusions, play the game, get the fusions. You're gonna get the right characters if you keep playing the game. That's what happened to me. And you will get some lucky champions as well. So out of the 18 champions, 5 of them are lucky. If I didn't have those 5 lucky champions, I don't think I'd be able to build 3 teams, but I'd be able to build 2. Make sense? Could build 2. And I just have to wait longer to get 3. Like, then maybe I'm a couple months out from having 3. If I don't get those 5, I'm going to get more champions that work. So hopefully this information is helpful. Link to this will be in the description if you want to download the game. Again, great time for existing players or returning players to start. Use the instructions that I had at the beginning of the video and have fun. And also, Sun Wukong's amazing here. Sun Wukong, Deacon, and Ugo are going to be potentially three of the champions that you could use out of the 18 to have 3 complete teams. So you're going to start off with 3 of them right out of the gate with the code. Bye for now.